Andrew Ravens here, ravensnewspost.com, efightnews.com, and wrestlenewspost.com, and it is a busy Monday, August 17th, 2015 edition. Crazy stuff going on right now, y'all. I will do my predictions for WB SummerSlam tomorrow, which will be August 18th. It'll be the next podcast. As of right now, a lot of MMA news is going down right now. And of course, ravensnewspost.com and efightnews.com has you covered. So this will be a more primary, mixed martial arts podcast. So let's get into some things. Let's see, a ton of news. Let's top it off with UFC 192, shall we? The UFC announced through the Houston Chronicle that a flyweight and a women's strawweight bout would be added to UFC 192. And that would be Joseph Benavidez taking on Ali Bagatayov, and then Rosa Manuich taking on Angela Hill. Rose and Angela, Rose has 4 bouts under her pro MMA belt, I guess you would say. She's 2-2 in those, and then Angela Hill's 2-1, and she lost her last bout at UFC 188 to Tisha Torres. As far as Benavidez, guy's on a 3-fight winning streak. He's a stud. Really, his only downfall of that division is the champ, Demetrius Johnson, who is a sick killer in that division. And then Ali, he is coming off of a loss to Demetrius Johnson back over a year ago, and then he was suspended for a failed drug test for PEDs. So that will be an awesome fight. The women's fight, it is what it is. I think the loser of that fight will get cut from the UFC unless it's Hill. They may give her a third chance, but their records are really not that impressive. UFC 192 takes place Saturday, October 3rd, 2015 at Houston's Toyota Center. Main card airs on pay-per-view, following by prelims airing on Fox Sports 1 and UFC Fight Pass. Currently, the card shapes up like this. All right. You got Derek Lewis taking on Anthony Hamilton, Johnny Hendricks taking on Tyron Woodley, Juliana Pena taking on Jessica Ai, Sean Jordan's fighting on that card. In the co-main, you got Ryan Bader versus Rashad Evans. Bader continues that winning streak, while Rashad Evans looks to make his long-awaited return. And then in the main event, which is a fight that I cannot wait, and a lot of people are bashing, Daniel Cormier makes his first ever light heavyweight championship defense against Alexander Gustafsson. Of course, Alexander's coming off of a loss at, UFC on Fox 14, 15, whatever that one was in January over in Sweden against Anthony Rumble Johnson. I understand that Gustafsson, he is what he is right now. But it's going to be a good fight, y'all. So that's what's going on for UFC 192. Beth Correia came out with an interview, or actually not even an interview, she posted on Instagram stating that she was going to fight Ronda Rousey in 2016. And the reason I have a problem with this is because of this. Beth talked a bunch of trash towards Rousey and her family leading up to UFC 191, or UFC 190, on August 1st in Brazil. However, she was knocked out in 34 seconds. Demolished. Talked a bunch of trash leading up to it, but was knocked out. Why? You would say, oh yeah, well, I just got knocked out in 34 seconds. I didn't mean what I was saying when I was leading up to the trash talking that invoked you to knocking myself out in 34 seconds. But hey, don't worry about it. I'll fight you in 2016. Do I have another fight lined up? Nope. Am I on a fighting winning streak? Nope, but I'm going to fight you in 2016. Good luck with that, Beth. Stevie Ray returns to action at the UFC Fight Night Dublin card, which is also UFC Fight Night 76. Takes on Mikel Labotte in a lightweight bout. That event is currently being headlined by Joseph Duffy, who is a beast, taking on Dustin Poirier, Stipe Miocic, and Ben Rothwell is in that co-main event. Tom Breeze versus Catherine Pendre is also on that fight card. Paddy Holohan's on that fight card. I love UFC when they go to Dublin. Their last one was with Conor McGregor and the Brazilian guy, Diego something. The guy has been on a losing streak ever since then, and McGregor just absolutely smashed through him. Josh Thompson came out with an interview with, I want to say, yes, he came out in an interview with ESPN.com stating that basically the reason that he left the UFC was because of sponsorship. UFC President Dana White came out with a statement last week stating that, they never wanted to re-sign him. Thompson's camp came out right after that stating that the UFC did offer them a contract. Actually, 2 fights before the contract was set to expire. They didn't want any part of it, and Thompson, of course, revealed that it was because of the Reebok sponsorship deal. And basically, this is how it works, just to sum it up in a very, very short summary. If you're under a UFC contract, you get basically probably half of the money that you would have previously earned in sponsorship money. They also, prior to the Reebok sponsorship deal, they also took a cut of your sponsorship pay. Bellator does not have Reebok, does not have a major sponsorship deal for the fighters. You provide your own sponsors. The big key with that is Bellator MMA does not take any percentage of your sponsorship pay. That led to Josh Thompson, who is, of course, a pioneer in the lightweight division, to go over there and join them. 3 hours later, it was announced by Bellator that Josh Thompson would be making his Bellator MMA debut at Bellator 142, which is in September, on September 19th, taking on Mike Bronzels, who is the previous Legacy FC title holder in that division. Currently, Thompson's a 36-year-old guy. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, and really needs to kick that up. Bellator 142 is, of course, the Dynamite card, which takes place at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Airs on Spike TV, and that event is headlined by a light heavyweight championship bout between current champion Limai McGreary taking on UFC veteran Tito Ortiz. That also is the same event that will have not only a cage for MMA, but also it's basically a boxing ring. They use it for kickboxing as well, but they're going to have a joint MMA and kickboxing event on that show. It airs, I want to, it's on Spike TV, and I know it does go up against whatever UFC Fight Night card that is on that Saturday night, which that's going to be a busy night. But I'm not for sure if it's a 3 or 4 hour card. I don't know if Bellator has ever done a 4 hour card, but the reason I say that it might be a 4 hour card is this. Currently, they have 3 championship bouts on that card, and championship bouts, 5-minute rounds, so they could be taking up a lot of room. As far as of this audio recording, I don't know how many fights are on the main card. I think if you're going over, 5 bouts on that card, and that card is absolutely stacked. As I'm speaking about this, I'm going to look it up real quick. That card is absolutely stacked because this is, Bellator does this thing where they will just stack certain cards. Their last one was, with the Kimbo and Ken Shamrock fight, UFC, Bellator 180, 138. So, it'll be interesting to see. As of this writing, I don't have the UFC card in front of me, or as of this audio, I don't have it in front of me. Okay, so currently, wow. Okay, so currently you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how accurate this is, but currently there's going to be 7 fights on that card, which is about a 4 hour card. So yeah, you're gonna have a 4 hour card. And like I said, I don't know. Let me look it up real quick. I don't know what fight card UFC is putting up against that. I don't think they'll stack it because, of course, Bellator is not competition. Okay, so I don't have that in front of me. Anyway, I will look that up. But anyway, Bellator, I really like Bellator's product. They take an old school approach to it, just like pro wrestling. People hate using the comparisons, but it's just like pro wrestling. You have a guy who you know is a talented fighter, who's a popular fighter, but you don't want to pair him up against a top tier guy, and you'll put him against some scrub and just have him dominate him. Bellator really does a really good job with that, and that is what the UFC is missing very badly. So this card does not go up against a UFC Fight Night card. So I was wrong. You have the Fight Night Japan card on September 26th and the UFC 191 pay-per-view event on September 5th. So Bellator will not be going head-to-head with the UFC event. Thank you, Jesus. Anyway, so Bellator 142 or Bellator Dynamite 1, that is going to be an absolutely sick card. I'm rambling, so I'm going to get out of here. RavensNewsPost.com and eFightNews.com is loaded with news right now. WWE Monday Night Raw takes place tonight in Minneapolis. Go home edition for SummerSlam, so that should be interesting. And a lot going on. So, you guys have a wonderful Monday, August 17th, 2015 day. We'll speak with you next time.